You've probably seen these apps, Cal AI, Quitter, RiskGPT, and these guys from AppMafia generating millions of dollars from AI mobile apps. And so recently they launched a course teaching how you can do the same. And before they released this course, other mobile app founders, such as myself, saw this and capitalized on it. Initially, I saw Cal AI, Quitter do really well within the past year. And so earlier this year, around January 2025, my friend and I launched our mobile app, thinking that, hey, I'm just going to follow these guys' footsteps, use the same strategies. I watched all their podcasts, watched all their YouTube videos, joined all these communities that people were in, Discord, WAP, blah, blah, blah. Before AppMafia was a thing, watched a bunch of Twitter. I paid for like some WAP communities from mobile app founders. But creating an AI mobile app today is a lot harder than you think. So let's go over the raw reality of creating an AI mobile app in 2025. So, of course, you've definitely seen these guys flexing their Lambos, and I was sold to this life as well. I thought I was just gonna, make an app. My partner is a developer, he's a software engineer, so we made our app in like 2 weeks. So, some of these guys didn't come from a technical background. We have the advantage to where my friend was, software engineer in big tech, and he built, our app within 2 weeks. And so any revisions that were made, we didn't lack any technical ability, right? But still, having a successful app relies on good marketing and product market fit, right? If you don't have good marketing and advertising, doesn't matter what kind of tech talent you have or how sophisticated your app is, you're not going to make any money. It's going to flop. So one of the reasons I think these guys in AppMafia had this early app success, one thing was low market saturation. The App Store has been around for a long time. People were launching apps like Flappy Bird, Clash of Clans, Making Bank, but available to the public, not everyone can build an app. They had to have some technical knowledge, right? You had to go learn how to build an app. You can't just, use one of these no-code tools and spin up a Cal AI and Quitter in 2 weeks, right? That wasn't feasible until recently, right? Tools like Lovable, Bolt, and others. We didn't have these no-code tools that were really accessible to the public that allowed us to create these apps until recently. So they were able to create these apps and market exceptionally well, a year or two before Lovable and Bolt had the capabilities for people to spin up these apps very quickly. Of course, there's still a learning curve, but they did this when there was a degree of market saturation to where you had to have a technical background, or if you had no technical background, you had to learn by yourself for a significant period of time, right? Obviously, Blake, didn't have any technical background, learned by himself, but props to the guy, is he went through the trenches, learned by himself, right? So there was still still a higher barrier of entry with the AI tools, whereas now the barrier entry is lower than ever, right? If you watch a couple YouTube videos, spend a couple weeks on it, you should be able to do it, right? Another thing on being able to just spin up an app, right? The low market saturation here, the availability of tools to build an app. Next thing is what I call guerrilla virality, right? What this means, guerrilla virality, is these apps were able to go viral very quickly without much spend on marketing, right? So they were using untraditional methods to generate revenue and views for their app without ad spending money on ads, Meta ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, or App Store search ads, right? What they did was they had obviously an influencer post that went viral on social media, but not just any social media. is Blake, when he had ChatGPT with RizGPT, he asked these theme pages with these, Minecraft videos in the background to have these stories, to create these posts on theme pages. And so like a $10 post mentioning RizGPT posted several times yielded thousands of dollars. So immediately he found ways early on to generate virality without spending a bunch of money. Right. And so posting on theme pages, we're able to generate people into using the app. So another thing that Twitter did is they posted on Reddit. There was a big community on Reddit following NoFap. So immediately when they met, before they got banned off of Reddit, they were just posting on Reddit about Twitter, and they generated thousands of dollars from Reddit alone. Right? This is before spending any money on ads, posting anything on TikTok or Instagram. Right? This is purely just paying these guys who have theme pages, making Reddit posts that pretty much comes at no cost, and generating thousands of dollars for their app. Right? Another thing is clipping. Right? They were able to get clips of their app through like an in-house editing team, and also work with UGC creators and spin up viral clips very quickly, and also working with influencers. Right? Influencer marketing has been around, but for mobile apps, it was a degree of low market saturation. Not all mobile apps were using influencers until more so recently. And of course, those theme page mentions I talked about. And so the last thing that really allowed these guys to succeed was the onboarding flow, right? Their app onboarding was so good. That's why they were able to have views that actually convert. Because if you have virality and you have a shit app, shit onboarding, you're not going to be able to convert views. What you're onboarding is a good funnel. People are going through, they're signing up for your app, you get them to pay. When I created our app, I studied Cal AI and Twitter's onboarding and took the same process as getting a 5-star review before they even tried the app. Asking the right questions, all these things, having, a really good UI. All these things that sparked dopamine when someone pressed the button, all these small things put together allowed them to have success by having a very optimized onboarding flow. So with all these three things together, they're able to generate this success. You can still do this as well, but you have to follow very quickly, very carefully. Not all these guys didn't hit a home run on this the first time. All of them had previous experience building apps. What I thought I was gonna do was I was just gonna come in on my first app and just hit virality, right? And just generate tens of thousands of dollars just from doing the same things. Doesn't work that way. And so I'm gonna go over what we did and what I would do differently now, and maybe you can learn a little bit different from us. We created an app called Regrow AI. Basically an app that allows people to regrow their hair. And so the first thing that we did was we built and launched our app in 2 weeks. And we just had my friend who's a developer, I handled the marketing, my friend handled the development, and he used Cursor to code everything in 2 weeks. Didn't lack anything in the technical department. I did do some technical, was I designed our onboarding, studied the onboarding, and I built all the onboarding pages, and then he turned them into life. So on our early marketing is we work with UGC creators, right? So I hired a couple of creators to post twice a day on YouTube and Instagram to talk about the app, right? We also tried, but for UGC creators, it didn't really work because they had to start an audience from scratch. What we should have done is work with, be able to scrap bad creators very quickly, and work with creators that maybe were a little bit better, but finding good UGC creators is a little bit harder than you think. If anything, what we should have done was put everyone on like a 7-day trial before choosing the best ones, right? Instead of committing 30 days. But we worked with UGC creators for multiple months, 1 to 2 months. Then we scrapped it all together because we realized we were generating the same or more views by ourselves through an in-house editing team without spending money on creators at all. And also what I found was like a lot of these creators, they don't have your best interest in mind. They just want to get paid. So they just like make a video, mention the app once, and they call it a day, right? So didn't really work well for us. Influencers. We hired an influencer marketing agency, spent $15,000 influencer ad spend, $6,000 in management. This got us $5 to $6 grand in revenue, but we spent 20 grand, right? It's kind of like gambling, right? Working with influencers, still pain in the ass, not very scalable, good to find good creatives, but then you yield very good results. I even tried posting, on Reddit, but for us, for my app, since it's about regrowing your hair, the audience on Reddit is very skeptical, right? So obviously they're not going to believe that you can use AI to regrow your hair, right? All these things, right? They think that's bullshit. What did work decently for us is I had I come from a videography and editing background, so I trained and hired an in-house clipping team. I have 2 to 3 editors, and that yielded pretty good results. We had 8 to 10 TikTok pages, 8 to 10 Instagram pages, posting 3 times per day, and that was generating hundreds and thousands of views. So this is great, and this is very cost effective, very sustainable. Of course, you still have to train and manage them. I tried paying people on theme pages, making posts on Reddit. Didn't really go very well. A lot of these theme pages, majority of their audiences, if you look very carefully, they're all from India. So that's not going to generate any revenue for your app. You need really good audience quality. The next thing was a optimized onboarding. So we had to optimize the onboarding throughout this entire process. What really worked for us in order to optimize onboarding was obviously, even before they get into the app, you have to have a good Apple page SEO so that you rank high for some key search words and have really good photos of your app. Next thing you need to ask for reviews on your onboarding so that you get as many reviews and bump up your ASO, right? Your Apple SEO. And then we had a $9.99 per week or $59.99 per year paywall through Revenue Cap. And in order to optimize our onboarding, what we did is we ran paid ads and we checked our onboarding flow through Mixpanel, and we're able to see where the drop off is and make changes on the pages whenever needed. We lost a bunch of money. The good thing is even though while we came from a marketing and paid ads background and my friend was a software engineer, we thought we all had all the skills and everything, but ultimately we were losing money. We didn't understand the conversion metrics to scale until we started paid ads. The most important thing running an app is the numbers the numbers that you're spending, the CPMs, the quality of the traffic. It's the numbers that you're able to track. If you're not able to know your numbers and the CPM, what views you need to generate to make money, you're going to be totally screwed. And so at each marketing source, you need to understand a couple things, right? You need to understand the cost per install. You need to understand your onboarding conversion rate from cold traffic to paid user. It needs to be 1.7% or above. And you need to know your user LTV, right? For every paid user, how much money do they spend on your app on average, right? If you don't know these things, you're going to just burn money down the drain, right? We made around just shy under of $10,000. Of course, we're still making money from it, but this spike came from just the initial influencer marketing, and this is just right now we're able to sustain about $500 MRR. This is pretty much what we're able to sustain now, right? And of course, you can see that spike here is we're still having customers but we're only running our organic now, and so we had 12,000 customers. So what we did as we were losing money, didn't shy away and quit. We wanted to lose more money, but we would try to turn it around. Going back, we tried to run paid ads, and we did for about 2 months. And this was our small glimpse of hope, right? So we took our conversion metrics from Revenue Cat and Mixpanel to understand what these numbers were. The percent of the users to paid, we want a 1% or above. We have an LTV of $22 per user. We took our winning creatives from influencer marketing and clipping, and we ran them as ads. But even with our best creatives, we tested around 60 to 100 creatives. Some of the best ad sets, we only broke even, and changed the onboarding multiple times. We just couldn't profit, even with paid ads. And we even drove down our cost per install on paid ads to 55 to 84 cents at scale, which is pretty good numbers wise, right? You're looking at 923 installs at 86 cents. And this was a 2.53% conversion from cold traffic to purchase. The industry average is 1.7%. So we had above average conversion rate, but we were still losing money, or pretty much breaking even. So what we did now is we just posted organically and have an in-house team to run this app. And maybe in a couple of months, we can chase back our tail and make back our money, or try other marketing methods. I think pretty much the best. Starting over, what I would do is, you want to find winning creatives. I would honestly just stick with, depending on your budget, I would stick with just having your own clipping team, right? Or working with like a small batch of UGC creators, getting the creatives, and then go to paid ads immediately as possible, so you can get those numbers and scale very quickly through the app, right? And figure out your numbers for onboarding. So hope this is helpful and paints a better reality for you if you're wanting to start AI mobile app in 2025.